House during Ronald Reagan's presidency. You're too young to remember that, but I was alive then. How old do you think I am, by the way? Just curious.
51?
Pardon me?
51?
What did she say? What did she say?
51.
I'm 63 years old.
Oh, so your
don't
skin came
look
through
like-
really well for you.
They work pretty well, huh? The secret is his wife.
That's
She
true.
treats him very well.
I've been married for 37 years, incredibly happily, and you know how I do that?
Because
I don't care about being right.
Ah,
Yes.
Okay?
that's the perfect
I don't
stuff.
care.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's
Doesn't
okay.
matter.
Yeah.
Yes. Are you married?
So,
Oh, okay. So then you just help him with that.
I'll just start.
He-
Yeah.
He knows my
Yeah.
secrets, so he's got all the tools
चालू
he
करते हैं
needs.
मैं, okay?
I got to.
It's okay.
Now he's,
Yeah, it's not implementation, yeah. Yeah,
Finding the right one.
yeah, exactly right.
We are here at Ageless Evolution Summit. Hi, I'm
for
Pranali,
you. Good for
Passionate
you.
Pulse
That's
podcast
by the way,
host,
very rare
founder,
nowadays.
and I'm having phenomenal guests lined up over here. Well, the first one to start with is Dr. Stephen Garan. He's UC Berkeley PhD. He's doing some phenomenal research in the biotech industry.
Oh, silver
There are a lot
anniversary.
of
Silver
terms that
anniversary.
he has coined, such
25
as
years, yeah.
phenomics
25 years,
and
right?
Yeah,
so
25
many
years, silver
others that
anniversary,
he's driving to. There is research that he's doing on anti-aging.
few minutes. Would you
There is
take
a lot
pictures
of
of us,
other research that is also happening. And today he is here to guide us how we can really age less. We're looking at Dr. Stephen Garan, and
no, he's a big
he
picture
is
of us.
absolutely a stunning personality that I have met over here. He's almost
He's an old
63
friend.
years
He's a
old,
very, very
and we
old
can
friend of mine,
barely
actually.
make it out that he's 63 years old, 37
Bo-
years
bo-
and
bo-
still
both,
married,
both,
and there is
both. He's
so
a very
much
old
stuff that
friend.
we are going
He's
to
been a friend for a
unfold for
long
him.
time.
Hi, Dr. Stephen Garan.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm good. How are
Great.
you? You should use your microphone in case.
Oh,
you
yes.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with you, may I know who is this?
No.
Dr.
No.
Nuno Martins.
Dr. Nuno.
Dr. Nuno
Yeah,
Martins. Both of you are from the Berkeley?
Yes.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So first and most, I'd like to understand the term that you coined, phenomics.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for asking.
And,
Yeah.
and what is that?
Sure.
Where it is leading to, from the genomics to whatever the
Proteomics.
Yeah,
Lots of omics out there. Very good question.
yeah.
So I'll try to be brief about that. So back in the early 1990s, there was the Human Genome Project,
Yeah.
where they collected all the DNA sequences for a human being to put it all together, create the human genome. Okay, that effort lasted about 10 years to collect all that data. So the human phenome is similar kind of thing. Our bodies change every second. And so just like a really good example is a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. Okay, it's the same animal, but it reconfigures itself.
Right.
If you look at, for example, females, before menopause and after menopause, there's a significant difference between them.
Yeah.
So the phenomics is trying to understand what is driving all those changes. And also understanding what a 37-year-old woman looks like and how she's configured when she is, say, 45 and when she's 65. She's a different person throughout those time frames. And also physiologically she's different. And this is really important if you're giving somebody medicine. Because if you give a 34-year-old medicine or a 64-year-old medicine, you're giving it to almost a different being,
Right.
because they're different. So doctors need to be aware of that. And that's what the Human Phenome Project is to categorize, is to accumulate all the data of all these different configurations through time. So how's that? So it's just like a movie. If you look at a movie, it's made of different pictures. So basically we're collecting pictures of you as you grow old and putting it together into a movie.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you'd like to add, Dr. Nuno?
Sure. Essentially, what Dr. Garan is saying is your body changes, your self changes, they change with time.
Yes.
And your hormonal patterns change.
Yes.
And when your hormones change, your body reacts to the change of those hormones release, right?
Right.
So, and if you're a physician, you should consider that.
Right.
If you're implementing a pill-based therapy, for example. And so that's what the amazing work Dr. Garan did with phenomics is helping physicians understanding the different, hormonal-based patterns and how to intervene clinically on different ages.
And we're very interested in female menopause because that's all hormonally
Yeah.
driven.
Right.
And so we could talk about more about that if you
Sure,
want to.
sure.
Yeah.
Please go ahead and
Yeah,
elaborate.
yeah.
Like, your recent
Sure.
research papers
Sure.
that I was reading on,
Yeah.
I was glued to it because, it's one of the under potential area that has been tapped so
Yes,
far.
yes.
And there is not so much of statistical data around to prove and talk about how we can delay it, how we can reduce the stress or the changes that it causes, and
Right.
how we can basically make it more easy for the women going through that stage.
Exactly.
So are there any clinical research and the statistical data that has proven to help you untap those whatever
Yeah, no, I understand. Well,
Yeah.
also just about menopause, it's
Uh-huh.
a serious issue that people don't talk about very much.
Right.
And just from a social point of view, many divorces happen during female menopause because the woman is going through her changes and the man doesn't understand what's happening, and you understand. So it's very difficult for both the men and the women, especially if they're married,
Right.
and because it's not really well understood by by either gender, male or female. So, anyways, we're trying to basically understand it, and actually we're trying to prevent it from happening in the first place,
Okay.
which nobody is working on except for our team.
So you mean to say the menopause can be absolutely halt? I mean,
ha-
it's like
not
you could
halted.
basically you
So
delay
not
it,
halted. Delayed is a good word.
Okay.
But maybe just it won't happen. Period.
right? Okay.
It won't happen ever. So
Yeah.
delayed means it will happen later,
Uh-huh.
but there's no reason for it to happen at all. So menopause is bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like if you could delay cancer or prevent it, what would you rather do?
I would take all the
You would,
precautionary
you would no, you would
measures. Yeah.
prevent cancer, not
Yeah.
delay it.
Obviously,
So if I
I
said,
would
okay,
prevent it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
if I say you will never get cancer, or you just have to wait for 5 years and then you'll get cancer, would you
I think I would
just
just
not have it altogether?
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do with menopause. Is just it never happens.
But then does that mean that the female can reproduce till the time she's alive?
So that's a very good question. So females are born with hundreds of thousands of eggs in their ovaries, and when they during their fertility period, which is about 35 years, from about age 12 to about like 45 or 46, they go through about 7,000, 8,000 eggs, but they have hundreds of thousands of eggs. So what happens to them all? And the answer is during menopause, they're all destroyed. Because when the hormones start to fluctuate and change, that change destroys the remaining eggs. So if you don't go through menopause, you could have kids for a very, very long time.
Wow. Does that mean
Or not. It's up to the woman and the man if they want to have kids, but
Right.
they don't have to. But you can conceivably have kids for a very long time. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what do you think, like, how much time it's going to take to do that kind of research, to come up with, some curative or therapeutic medicines?
Yeah.
To,
Yeah.
maybe someone has to be on the maintenance dose, right? Because
Well,
naturally we're not gifted,
so that's another
so-
good point. Well, first of all, we all have to carry the experiments out on animals, on
Uh-huh.
rats and mice and so on and so forth. But as you know, all women express hormones differently. Some women have more estrogen, some have less, some have more progesterone, some have less. I mean, it's very personal.
right.
So what we're going to be doing is understand every woman's individual hormone profile, so we can basically maintain it. And did you want to
Okay.
say something regarding
Yeah.
that?
I would add that it's not just about increasing your possibility of having children. It's about preventing bone loss.
Muscles,
Oh,
yes.
that's
right.
essentially
Thank you.
like,
That's
so
a very good point. yeah.
basically living healthier is what you're looking for.
Absolutely,
To drive
and,
from
and
that.
muscle density as
Muscle
well.
Right.
density, for
Yeah.
example, mental, neurodegenerative diseases.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes, that's right. And I think it was mentioned at the conference that women suffer from 70% of all Alzheimer's pathology.
Yeah.
So they're far more predisposed to Alzheimer's, but that happens after menopause. So if you can maintain your hormone profile as a young woman, then hopefully that would postpone or maybe postpone permanently these neurological pathologies.
So does that mean that the wrinkles and associated changes that women ultimately go through, like the increase of the size of particular body part,
Yes.
all those things are then
They will
it's
be
very
they will
much
be
controlled.
postponed. Yes,
It
they'll
could
be
be
postponed.
controlled.
Yeah. So basically, the reason why your body changes is that it is driven by your hormones. So why you grow? So from a 12-year-old to an 18-year-old, why do young boys turn into young men and why do young girls turn into young women?
It's
is because the
absolutely
hormones, right?
hormones change,
Right.
yeah.
And so but that kind of increase stops at the age of 20 approximately. So imagine an arrow shot it up into the air and it stops I mean, it doesn't go forever.
Right,
It has
but
to,
you
it has to
essentially look forward to stop it at
to
that
stopping,
point of time.
and then
yeah.
it goes then the arrow, just like our bodies, they go downhill,
Right.
and that's all hormonally driven. And so we're working on a way of have the arrow basically just going forever.
Oh, wonderful. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So, in general, I have a question looking at, what age we are living today. There's so much that we are blending. So, with the data statistics that's coming in handy and a lot of congruent pieces for you to drive and summarize, what is essentially you think that the type of data that we are not untapping or the healthcare tech innovation is not driving towards? So what is that area or the hidden sides of science where somebody has to put in efforts to drive that data so that the doctors like you, the researchers and scientists like you can work on it far better,
Right.
and use today's technology to make it basically essentially accelerate your research and come to the clinical trials fast?
Right, right. That's a very, very good question. So number one, we talked about personalization of medicine, which is going to be huge. And so I think what's going to be really important is monitoring your own self and having that data go to your doctor. So your hormone profile, your blood pressure, your heart rate, all that data should be constantly streaming to your doctor so he can keep track of you. Or maybe not your doctor, but your AI. Your AI will keep track of you. Your doctor's a busy person, so no, seriously, your AI will be monitoring you to make sure you're okay.
Right.
And so all that data will be fed into your own personal AI. Did you want to elaborate on that a little
No,
bit?
100%. And AI will, upgrade with so much data.
Yeah.
Human physicians don't have, the time
Right.
or the brain to handle all of that data.
Right.
We're not prepared to handle massive amounts of data.
So is
right?
it possible that your AI will be your physician?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So AI essentially will complement our current physician. It will not replace them. It
Right.
will empower them to understand those amounts of data.
So Right.
Are
And
there
will summarize
any
for them.
models already existing that you are using per se in Berkeley or any other places where you're doing the
So we're
research?
more concentrated on obviously slowing down aging, specifically menopause, and so when we do our work with humans, then clearly that data will be very important. The individual data, the individual hormone profile data for every woman, so we can basically prevent menopause. So the
Okay.
answer is we will, but not just yet. We're not there yet. We're still working on the mechanisms to basically stop menopause from happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think like for your research, if some of the data scientists complement you or work together, it's going to help you better? And what are some of the efforts that you're driving in UC Berkeley or any
Yeah.
other institute where we are doing the
R-
research?
Right. So one of the things we're doing is, for example, with our experimental animals, we actually have live video that's monitoring their behavior.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so it's a very, very neat technology. So basically, when we do the experiments on the animals, we will know exactly what's going on with them. Are they happy? Are they sad? Are they eating a lot? Are they drinking a lot? Are they moving around a lot? So a ton of data that will go into the AI that will basically create a profile for every individual animal. And then that technology can be used for us to monitor us that we're healthy, we're not feeling good, why aren't we feeling good? So basically, it'll be kind of like having a doctor with you 24/7.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
So what is that one overlooked data, Dr. Nuno, that you see like, that has really overlooked and that data set has to sample out? Throughout your research, you must have gone through multiple data sets to, figure out and you see like, some of the data hasn't come, some of the data has come, but we're just not tapping it enough. Or are there any things that you would like to, add insights on?
Well, mostly brain data. So we're
Okay.
collecting a lot of data from your body, right? Your heart rate and many other body-based information, but not the brain.
Oh,
And
I
the
remember.
reason- So the question is why is that?
Right,
Because it's hard to pick up information from your brain because
Yeah.
you have the skull,
right.
and we don't have many devices that you can carry on that could, report that data.
Right. So I remember there was one research, and in fact there is one non-profit that is set where regarding the concussion, like the athletes who are supposed to get the concussion in particular sports field or irrespective, their data gets monitored, or like those athletes have decided to donate the brains.
Well, yeah, and nowadays,
right?
by the way, they actually have sensors in the helmets now. You're talking about like traumatic
Right,
brain injury,
right.
TBIs, yeah. So, American football, they have these big helmets and it's a very violent game. So now they're being monitored. So if there is a traumatic brain injury, then they basically they take a break, they relax, let their brain heal, and so
Right.
on. Because if your brain is constantly impacted and impacted and impacted, that's going to induce pathologies.
Right. So my point is like the data is only coming from that field
Right.
versus the rest of the fields is data is untapped.
Right.
And there should be some essentially a movement that
Yes.
needs to happen so that congruently this research moves further. You should know like
Sure.
where the hormones are secreting,
Yep.
which brain part is damaging which
Yep.
part, and if that happens, I think it's going to be a phenomenal.
Well, Dr. Martins
acceleration.
has done a lot of work on that. Actually, did you want to talk a little
Oh,
more
yeah,
about?
sure.
Yeah,
On the nanotech side.
yeah.
Okay, please.
So if you want to receive information from your brain, you don't want to have a skull, a hole in your skull and put something in your brain, right?
Right.
Not convenient. Right? So we're working on with Steve. We're working on the nanotech
Okay.
future tools that can allow us to collect that data from your brain, respecting privacy, obviously, but taking the information that's important. And some of that information is being used today, for example, to control a robotic arm. So a
Wow.
tetraplegic patient, she's tetraplegic. She cannot move her limbs, arms or legs, and we receive information from the motor cortex, and we send information to a robotic arm. And just by thinking, this patient can move the arm and feed herself. So it's the beginning of a time where we can receive information from people's brains, and after that, looking into the central parts of the brain that control hormone release, for example,
Right,
and
right,
dictate
right.
when menopause starts.
So just not so many people know, and thank you for bringing that up, Dr. Martins, is that your hormones are actually controlled by a part of your brain called the hypothalamus.
Right.
I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, we know. We have
Yeah.
studied in the school.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. So it's like having a little computer at the base of your brain, just above your pituitary gland, which basically controls your entire well-being. It tells you when to go to sleep. It tells you when to wake up. It makes you angry. It makes you happy. It does a lot of things to your conscious brain that you're not really aware of.
Right.
And so that's another thing that we're looking at is trying to augment what it does using technology and basically allowing you to control your hormone profile externally.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
So, looking at how these fields are driving today, I mean, these are like one of the most challenging fields to enter and do a lot of innovation and create an impact, for the generations to last.
Sure.
These are such kind of fields. But do you see that the students are really taking these fields or, segmenting out as a career portrait or the focus? Looking at Silicon Valley,
Yeah.
where a lot of tech, economy is driving, how much augmentation is actually happening and how many people are really not aware about those career fields? I'd like to tap into that area
Yeah.
and see if any one of our viewers or, the summit people, drive their youngsters to go into these fields. And
Yeah.
there's like immense amount of, the landscape where they could do a lot of
also
changes.
financially, as you know, the baby
Yeah.
boomers are the richest demographic in America, right? Because
Right.
they hold most of the wealth in America, the baby boomers do. And guess what? Those baby boomers are in their 70s now, okay? And they're growing old. Remember they were going to live forever and and die beautifully. Well, now they're old and not so beautiful anymore, okay? So from a point of view of a young a person going to university, I would totally look at that career because it will not only benefit these older people, it'll benefit them because someday they're going to grow old too.
Right.
Okay, and so, but the bad thing about it is that, for example, at where I'm at UC Berkeley, we had a course on aging that was taught up until 2008.
Wow.
When the professor who was teaching the course, she passed away. She was 85 years old. So myself and my colleague, Dr. Martins, are trying to revive that course at
Okay.
Berkeley so students can understand how important it is to understand the aging process because basically they're going to benefit from this
I think
themselves.
every individual is
Yeah.
going to get benefit out of
Yeah.
it for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Both
yeah.
academically, Dr. Garan has, pioneering several, not just courses, but, in that experience for students, for them to come to the research lab he has at CREA, the Center for Research and Education on Aging, and he brings those students to inspire them to pursue a career in longevity.
Right.
And so it's not just about doing the research, it's about inspiring the next
Yeah,
generation.
absolutely.
And he invites them to come to these amazing conferences like Ageless Summit.
Yes, that's
Okay.
right. That's right.
So, Dr. Nuno, I have an extended question for you regards with that. I'm just bringing the mic here in
Sure.
case we're not capturing. So, my question to you is, when we're looking at these career fields, to drive and thrive further, what are the demographics that we are looking, which are entering, and also the demographic data that we haven't yet captured yet? I'm sure because a lot of cultures inherently are little shy about giving that kind of data, and that does impact the research. So what is your opinion and take on it, and the further initiatives that needs to happen?
Yeah, in terms of demographics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
demographics, gathering data, or people putting out their information, because it's such a sensitive stuff for
Yeah.
someone for that lifespan.
Sure.
But if you go beyond the lifespan, I think it's not sensitive anymore, but it's probably helpful.
Yeah, it is. No, it would be great, Dr. Garan. It would be great, as you were saying so well. It would be great if we used, cryptographic tools
Oh, yes.
to make sure we keep
To
privacy.
encrypt the
Oh,
data, yes.
wonderful.
Encrypt the
Yeah,
data
yeah.
and receive that data, making sure that we're respecting people's rights and privacy.
And using
I would-
blockchain to ensure its
Right.
integrity as
Exactly.
well.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh.
So that's a particular area of research that we're very, hopeful and expecting it to really impact the field of collecting data. There's a lot of data missing in the longevity space.
I'm sure.
yeah.
So for the
And I think the shock and the difficulty of getting it is mostly due to privacy data, privacy information, right?
I
Right.
just want to say one thing, like why, you need to ask the question, why are we interested in this in the first place? Why do we want to live longer? It's a good question.
I think it's not about whether living longer, but living healthier
Good.
is what
So
we are looking forward to.
it's called health span.
Right.
But why? Can I tell you why?
Sure.
So I was born in Canada, and now I live in California, one of the most beautiful places in the world, okay? From here in Mountain View, I can get in my car and drive 20 minutes to the ocean, or 40 minutes to Napa Valley, or 3 hours to Lake Tahoe, or maybe go to Los Angeles and go to Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
So it's probably, and also I believe Silicon Valley is around here too somewhere, yeah. So it's one of the most interesting places to live in the world, and it just really makes me feel alive to live here, and I just don't want it to stop.
Right.
So that's why I want to live longer, so I can just enjoy myself more.
And,
Right.
Yeah.
and meet all of these wonderful people we see in this
That's
conference.
right,
There's so
that's
many
right.
interesting people around.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we need way more time to get to know each one of them.
Perfect.
Absolutely,
Perfect.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So let's deep dive further and see, is there any movie that you think has been shown the future of healthcare, or the future of biotech,
Yeah.
or whatever?
Yeah.
Is there any movie that you relate and you think that is actually happening now? Probably they have produced it a couple of years back, or 10 years, or
Yeah.
decades back, but now you see that's happening.
So something we've not talked about is organ printing. Have you heard of that?
No?
So if I lose my hand in an accident, we'll just print a brand new one, and then the doctor will attach it. There's a movie, and because you asked about movies, there's a movie maybe 20 years ago called The Fifth Element. And in that movie, there's a scene where somebody, I believe only their hand is left over, so they basically print everything else, like their entire body is printed. And by the way, my team is actually working on that technology right now.
Wow.
And so it's not, obviously the hand is not so important, but what's really important is your heart. You can live without your hand, but you can't live without your heart.
Right.
Or your pancreas. You must have both your kidneys. And so, and other organs too. So our group is actually working on printing organs using your own cells.
Wow.
Because what they don't tell you about when you receive an organ from somebody else is your body will try to reject it,
Right.
and you have to take drugs to stop that from happening, which depresses your immune system.
Right.
But if I could take some of your cells right now and grow them in an incubator and use those as ink to print out maybe a heart or a kidney, and then give it back to you, your body will say, "Oh, that's me. I'm not
Right.
gonna throw it away."
Yeah.
So that's another thing we're working on.
So
is
it's
organ printing.
basically you're replicating yourself
Yes,
wherever
you're
it's
making
needed.
copies. You're making
Copies
extra
of
parts.
data. Extra parts.
You're making
Yeah.
extra parts, right?
You can do for the organs, not the brain, though.
Yeah.
It's going to be you.
That's true. The brain.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Nah,
you're
that's
stuck
all
with
right.
what you got.
Okay.
Yeah.
But does that mean that when the fetus is in womb,
Yeah.
and you find out some problems in that, like
Yeah.
for whatever reasons, like there are gonna be a defective birth happening,
Right.
do you see that this clinical research can deep dive further with the printing mechanism?
Of course.
That now everybody is gifted, or we can
Sure.
basically adding a potential to gift them.
Yes, absolutely. So there, as you said, there's many children, many babies that are born with issues. And again, if you print organs, you can replace whatever organ has the problem.
Right.
If the heart has congenital issues, or any organ whatsoever, I mean, excluding the brain, of course. But even there, again, my colleagues' technology could be used to repair even brain damage with net, because Dr. Martins is a pioneer in nanorobotics. And did you want to maybe say something about that?
Sure. And then before that, I'll just say that when you know, if your windshield is broken, you don't throw away your car, right?
No.
Yeah,
You just
absolutely.
replace
We
the
replace
windshield,
it.
right?
Yes.
Let's create that world where humans are not thrown away just
Not
because
thrown away.
you know,
Yes, very good point.
just
yeah.
because they have
a
an
broken
issue
part.
with a part of their
Yeah.
body, right?
That's right.
So talking about the neural nanorobotics, so we published a paper with Dr. Garan titled Human Brain Cloud Interface, where we propose nanorobots that interact with our neurons to connect our brains to the cloud.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, you got to read it. Yeah, 2019 actually sounds very futuristic, but
Correct.
the paper is now on the top 10 most viewed papers ever on frontiers of neuroscience. And more than being proud of the success of the paper, it's about recognizing that the scientific community recognizes that this is the time to work on this technology.
Right.
That's why we got so many reads, 200,000 reads for a scientific paper is really, really
That's a lot.
exceptional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it means that the scientific community recognizes that the future is now to work on this technology.
Yeah, so considering these are like industrial deep tech technologies, it takes time to see the results or see the products. Essentially, since we are sitting at the heart of Silicon Valley, where there are a lot of VCs who are ready to pour, the capital to, thrive the innovations, but these are some of the industries where, although there is a demand, but the supply of capital or supply of support is quite, I would say, it is still under the belt, right? I mean, and it has not been talked about. Those people are just not coming in front. So what do you think that needs to happen so that, these technologies are also getting fuel
Yep.
to get something
Speed
out
up.
that is, relevant to the mankind?
So there's many kinds of technologies that you can invest in. There's social media, there's AI, but there's only one technology that the VC itself can benefit from,
Right.
right? So the actual VC, the man or the woman, can benefit from investing in this technology, because if it comes true, not if, but when it comes true, they can then live longer. And that's a pretty good ROI, return on investment.
Yeah.
So it's not just the money, but they themselves will live longer. So that's two things you get,
Yeah, longer and healthier both.
of course.
So, per se, in both of your career, has there any movement that has, taken you to these moments like, I wish I could, like put them into this more conviction that this is where the research time and resources are needed, and, you have to approve it. But then you had to literally, struggle at times to get these things approved.
Yeah. Well, as Dr. Garan was saying, health is the new wealth.
Health is the new wealth.
Yeah,
So
I
if-
think it was always
That's
the way.
beautiful, yeah.
So if VCs understand this concept,
Yeah,
that your health is so important or more important than your wealth, and that your wealth should be serving your health,
right.
then the return of investment becomes different when you look into the metrics of risk
Right.
investment.
Yeah.
And so that's what we expect happens in the near future with these new technologies emerging. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So now you're very hopeful that the capital is going to flood to these kind of researches, and also the industrial deep tech that will evolve
Yeah.
out of these researches and studies. And I want all of you, if you're looking out this as a career field, there is not just the biotech, or not just the medicine, or the surgeries or the doctors or whatever that you see. There are a lot of aligned fields where one can act, combining the tech and the healthcare segment. I think there is an immense amount of innovation that we can drive, and we are hopeful that this summit serve the purpose, and the doctors that we are sitting with are able to pump you up for these directions to take as a career, work towards it, and also to a lot of VCs that we address from our own podcast. These are some of the industrial deep tech issues where the capital and the resources needs to be aligned, and
Right.
people have to bet on it. It
So
might not be
I
a
just say
decade
one more
of
thing.
yeah.
This desire to slow down the aging process has been around for quite a long time, but only just recently it's become mainstream, or sort of mainstream.
Right.
A long time ago, people that were doing this were not viewed very positively. But as you can see from our incredible event here,
Right.
and the number of people here, it's definitely going mainstream. So if I
Yeah.
were an investor, this is something I'd definitely invest in. Again, not just for the money, but for their own health.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So one tip that you like to give us to our audience how to age less
Okay.
with whatever we have today.
I can't tell you how old I am, but I'm older than you think. But the reason why is, first of all, I try to reduce my stress level. I don't worry about things. I don't argue. I just let things, kind of be as they are. Sometimes that's kind of the best policy to follow, but basically try to be as happy as you can. That's my advice.
And my advice is come to this conference.
Yeah, come to
You'll
this
learn
conference.
so much over here. It's really amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Really
it's
amazing.
really amazing. Yeah. So when the stress happens, that's another rapid fire for you, Dr. Nuno. If the stress is happening, and if
Lower
people
your
are
stress.
unhappy, then what is the body organ or the type of muscles or whatever it is that you think physiologically where this gets deposited first? I mean, we know that other parts start slowly accumulating it.
Yeah.
But what is the first organ that should tell you, or the first physical sign that should tell you that it's time or it's a wake-up call for you?
How do you intervene?
No,
No, is it like
how does the body react to the
reacts,
stress?
yeah.
Well, specifically, there's a
Yeah,
hormone called cortisol,
Yeah.
and that is a stress hormone.
Yeah,
And
the
that
question is how do you feel it? No,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
how
But
do you get the signal
Yeah.
for that you need to be treated or whatever?
Well, there are several manifestations of stress in our body. I think, again, the best way is to be preventive and act preventively here. So if your lifestyle, if you have adequate sleep,
Oh, yes.
if you exercise regularly,
Very important.
the stress levels do not tend to come to a level where you have physical manifestations of that stress.
Right.
So I think handling stress requires, a commitment to come to the basics. Sleep well,
Yeah.
eat properly and
Yes.
healthy,
Yes.
and do physical exercise and join the community.
Absolutely,
Because
yeah.
community we learn here, right?
Right.
In the morning, an amazing talk from Nick, explaining that, it's really critical that you connect with your community.
Having a good
So-
social network, which
Right.
also, again, as Dr. Martins said, sleep, eat well, have a good social network, and try to be happy and reduce stress.
Exactly.
Now,
Because
there's no pharmacological company, no drug company that will invest in this type of strategy.
Right.
It's something you do by yourself without spending a penny.
Yeah.
But eventually we will have therapies to slow down the aging process. But right now, again, what Dr. Martin said, to do these basic things, and that will prolong your life.
So is there any morning routine both of you have to age less?
I try to wake up. It's like there's something called slow food. There's a slow food movement. I'm kind of the slow wake up movement. So I don't like, oh my God, I have a million things. No, I just do it in a calm way, and I wake up maybe a little bit earlier, but just be calm and don't react and don't overreact. Just try to do things in a nice kind of way. What do you think, Dr. Martins?
It's true. It's true. I mean, each person, it's very personal. Right? It's very personal. I'm used to go to the gym, frequently, regularly. I typically walk in the morning. So when you wake up in the first 15 minutes, if you take some sunlight and you go outside, it helps your body regulate your sleep patterns. So that's one of the things I've been doing for a couple of decades now. And so that's one little step. One little piece.
I have another thing. Dr. Martins and I, we travel a lot. We're always on the plane. And what I've learned, and this is for people that travel a lot, show up at the airport 4 hours before your flight, and you won't care how long the line is to the security. You will not be stressed. It could be a mile long. You don't care. You've got 4 hours, okay? And look, what else are you going to be doing during that time? And so that's another way. So find strategies to reduce your stress levels, and that's just one.
So true.
And any opinion about the meditation? There are different type of
Yes,
meditation
yes.
throughout the world. that
Don't
exist.
take any medications or anything. Just do.
meditation.
No, I'm-
ju-
yeah.
sorry,
Oh,
yeah. But no, actually, I do want to say
Yeah.
people take these enormous amounts of vitamins and so. Look, it's simple. Just lower your stress level. Try to be happy. Have a good social network. Exercise. Just do normal stuff. But meditation. My wife is a Buddhist, and she
clinical,
Yeah.
which are like out of these two buckets, where do you think that your all bets are?
Well, I really think that, well, in clinical practice, first of all, before you diagnose anyone, make sure they have the basic principles in order. So if somebody comes to you, if you're a clinician, somebody comes to your medical office and if the person doesn't sleep well, if the person doesn't have a exercise routine, if the person is not connected to the community, make sure you establish those pillars first. And after a couple of months, once those pillars are established, then make a proper diagnosis of what the person has. Because many of the manifestations the person has might go away after you correct those main pillars of a healthy longevity.
Interesting. So rather than going with the clinical, psychological is the first pillar that you would want to.
Yeah, I think it's complementary. I think we should have a medical field, a healthcare system connected to lifestyle system. So it's essentially what we're doing here at the summit, right? We're explaining people that you need to do a lot for your health, and only where there are pathologies come after you have the basic concept established, right? The basic pillars established. But if you don't sleep properly, right? If you don't exercise, if you're not connected to the community and you live, almost by yourself,
Right.
it's pretty likely that you have manifestations of symptoms. They're
Right.
not a disease, but just a manifestation of the lack of those pillars well established in your life.
Well, going back to old basics, where our earlier, the grandparents or great-great-grandparents generation used to be.
There you go.
We should just
That's
adapt to
exactly
that,
it.
but with this newest and the modern stuff,
Yep.
we should all together combine and get it
Exactly.
going.
But as far as technology is concerned, I do want to just say reiterate what Nuno said, is that sometimes just the common sense things just are the best things to do. But if you're a technologist, you're an investor, and you want to radically change lifespan, I just want to let everybody know there's roughly about 11 different theories of why we grow old, 11 of them. So if you want to invest in this field technologically, please do your homework and don't invest in the one of the 11 that don't make sense. There's only one that makes sense, but make sure you do your homework and make sure you choose the right one. I'm not going to tell you which one it is. I don't want to bias anybody, but do your homework.
Well, thank you for being
you.
here
Yeah.
and spending such a qualitative time with us and giving us the opportunity to understand about what goes behind the research. I mean, I'm sure you're working immensely. You yourself are like drowning into so many stuff that we are not aware about. But happy to understand what technology factor can bring into this biotech evolutions, and also the genome therapies and the rest of the stuff that you are looking to drive to evolve to ageless and sustain well. I think wish you all the best for your future studies and guiding many more students
Oh,
to
yeah.
come up and become the next Dr. Garan and next Dr. Nuno.
Thank you so
right.
much.
Well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for the
Thank
great
you.
Good to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
We have some special
Let's pick it
stuff
up.
for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.